England are through to another Euro final.
Yeah, we are,
Yes.
baby.
Yes. How?
I can't believe it.
Slightly different setup for this video. I'm joined by my girlfriend Hannah and my best mate Tom. I nearly got that mixed up.
He wishes.
And we're going to do a live reaction. We've just come back from the pub. We went for another drink after that because we needed to settle down, didn't we?
Adrenaline was high.
Something to take the edge off. But we're going to try and react to the match as normal as possible, as sober as possible. I mean, what's your initial thoughts just off the bat before we go through the match in order?
I'll let Hannah take that one.
I just can't believe it. Like, honestly, the emotion was so high in the pub that I literally am just so baffled by it. And I was like tearing up when we got the goal because Connor like embraced me. And I was like, oh my God, we're through to a final. I can't believe it. But that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I also embrace Connor, and now I'm joking. So I think, I don't know, I feel like there's been a real mixed emotions throughout this tournament for us, and, you know, there's obviously been a lot of ups and downs, and, you know, I feel like I think collectively as a nation, we've probably all been sat there going, you know, has this been the right thing for us, you know, playing in this way, playing with the players that we're playing with. We've got such a great attacking force at the moment, but defensively, I think, you know, it's been one of the things that's thrown into question. However, tonight, I feel like we've put that right, and actually, there's been a lot of really, really good performances there all across the pitch. You know, Carl Walker being one of them, Konza as well. You know, I feel like a lot of players have really stepped up to the plate for this as well. So yeah, we've been really quite lucky.
I mean, obviously to win it in that way is ridiculous, but that first half was probably the best half of football we've played in the tournament, right? Like, we've questioned Gareth Southgate, we've questioned the setup, but we did actually, you know, obviously we went a goal down to Xavi Simons with that great hit. You know, unlucky from Declan Rice, really. He tried to close him down. No one stepped up to the plate to shut that gap. He's fallen over as he's taken the shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Pickford got a hand to it, but there's not much you can do
You
about
can't
that.
grumble. Like, it was just an insane goal. Obviously so early into the game as well, which I guess I get. But the thing is, I feel like with England, I feel like we always need a goal to go against us in order to get back and attack, because I feel like we always kind of sit back and kind of wait for chaos and go from there, really.
I mean, we said this before the match, didn't we? Yeah. In a way, the best thing that could happen is us going a goal down rather than a goal up. Obviously, a lot of the subscribers on this channel are QPR subscribers, and we say that about QPR too. We don't play until we go a goal down. And England did the same, and after the goal, we were all over him for that first half, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, there's been big questions over players like Phil Foden. He looked dangerous in that first half. Saka looked as good as ever. We looked the best, I think, that we could. And then, just as has happened all the way through the tournament with us going a goal down, we found an equaliser, what is it?
7 minutes. No.
18
minutes.
11 minutes later. Like, you know, it's just...
Yeah.
And yeah, let's talk about the goal. I mean, obviously, the ball bobbled in the box. Harry Kane has lashed out, tried to take a shot. And I must admit, when I saw that replay back, I didn't think it was a penalty personally. Like,
no,
you know,
I'd agree with that. I think, you know, there was a lot of contention there, and I think had it gone the other way against us, we probably wouldn't throwing our arms up at that. But you know, in this game and in the way that it is, you know, you have to take what you can, and ultimately, you know, throughout that half, as you say, you know, we put ourselves in enough position. So I think we deserved something out of that first half. Absolutely. I mean, we'll get onto the second half in a minute, but yeah, it was certainly something that you sit there and look back on, you go, oh, should we have had that? But
I think
you take those ones.
Yeah, it was studs up.
Well, that is the only thing that I think has made it sway for him giving that decision, is it was studs up. It's a hard one to call because the actual contact is after Harry Kane's taking the shot. Yeah. So, like, if he'd stopped him from taking the shot, I would probably say, yeah, that's definitely a penalty.
Absolutely.
But it happened after he took the shot. It's a very generous penalty to be given.
I was nervous when he went to the VAR screen. I did think he was not going to give that.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised it even got called as a penalty.
Yeah, but then...
you got to take it, right?
Well, you got to take it, and then Harry Kane's stepping up to take it. He's had a lot of criticism throughout the tournament. I mean, I'd say even arguably after this penalty, he's still not looking fit. It's, you know, he's a pretty static player on the pitch. I've always been a defender of Harry Kane. I mean, you know, he's not getting the service into the box that he needs. He's the best striker in the world, and we don't service him. We don't play to, you know, deliver to Kane.
No.
However, he came into the tournament with that back injury, and I just, I've still got questions over his fitness. However, when he's taking a penalty on the spot, it was a bloody good penalty, wasn't it?
And he had those like little deep breaths out to kind of compose himself, and I mean, it was buzzing. The pub just erupted, didn't it?
I think it was like a bit of a trick of the ear that when he was taking the breaths, I felt like I could hear the breaths that he was taking. Like maybe it was me, maybe it was my heavy breathing.
I think as well, like he looked. I don't know how anyone else out there felt, but he certainly looked quite unready for today.
In the tunnel, didn't he?
The way that he came out, I think the only thing that kind of like trumped that was the fact that how nervous that the Netherlands looked, but he definitely looked quite nervous, and somebody that didn't really, I don't know, wasn't on the form he could have been.
It felt like the occasion was getting the better of him a little bit before the match.
That's probably what I reached for there.
He buried that penalty, and that was a world-class penalty. To put it in the side netting, you cannot save that as a goalkeeper. It's a very good penalty. And then that galvanised us afterwards. We were all over him for that. Like I say, best half of football that we've played. We were a lot more proactive, Still think there was a bit of, lack of movement off of the ball, people giving each other options. There's a couple of times where Saka's cut into the middle and he's looking for someone to lay it off to. I mean, that led to the goal when he tried to take that shot and it fell to Kane. But he didn't really have those options, and I felt the same with Bellingham as well. Was doing a lot of nice work in and around the box, but he didn't have that option out on the left-hand side because Trippier can't cross the ball in because he's uncomfortable on that foot. I don't blame Trippier for that. It's a hard position to come into when you're naturally a right-back. But still felt like there was a slight imbalance, but we were all calling for it, right? We were like, get a goal before half-time and like take the game by the horns and, go ahead. But of course it goes in 1-1. And then we were sort of, we were wanting to see more of that in the second half. I said at half-time, like, I'd like to see Luke Shaw come on. Yeah. That's the exact substitution that Gareth Southgate made. But the second half was strange.
Yeah, the second half was slightly uncomfortable and quite boring, I guess. Like, you've just had that amazing 45 minutes of attacking with Phil Foden obviously having those attempts on goal, and then it just came out like quite stale, and everyone was passing around the back and there was no real
It was slower,
attack. And it makes you question what was said in the changing rooms, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They just had a great first 45 minutes.
It's a funny one because I'm calling for Luke Shaw to balance out the team, and he did, and I thought he had a really good performance in that second half. However, the right-hand side where Saka is our, that's our danger zone. Yeah. And we didn't attack down the right-hand side at all for the majority of the half. And, I mean, it got to, 80 minutes and we were saying we've not had a shot,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
But, let's think about it in a balanced way too. The Netherlands obviously made their substitutions. Depay had come off in the first half. Weghorst comes on in the second half. They had a couple of moments where they're really trying to attack us. We gave them a little bit too much freedom with balls into the box.
I think they had one. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the Netherlands team players, but number 22 was dangerous. He was obviously the guy who gave the penalty to Harry, but also he was one that stopped the ball from Phil Foden's attempt at goal. He also nearly headed it into the goal. He was so dangerous, and he was almost everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, Dumfries. Yeah, I mean, he if he hadn't have given the penalty away, which I say haven't given the penalty away, it probably shouldn't have been a penalty.
No.
He was probably their best player. And he was really dangerous. Obviously, he hit the crossbar as well. And we started to give him a little bit too much on the ball, where we're letting them whip balls into the boxes, which is where they're really dangerous because they have those physical presences, don't they?
Well, this is the thing. I think this is something we're going to have to watch out for when we come to play Spain, is, where those physical presences are over the pitch. Exactly. Yeah. And I think as well, going into that, the set piece coach has to really be drilling stuff into them in the sense of defending corners and other set pieces as well, because there were far too many of those given away tonight in dangerous areas, where I think there was one that was from about probably 45 yards out that just dropped straight into the 6 yard area.
It was a great ball in.
It was a great ball in from the right hand side. I don't know who played it in, but
we shouldn't be giving him that.
We shouldn't, and I think all of us probably a couple of times tonight. I mean, again, like Hannah said, where Dumfries hit the crossbar earlier on. That was a moment we all sort of like held a breath, and I think That's stuff that, you know, can really cut us open in this tournament. But I think when it comes down to playing the ball on the floor and actually playing an open play, you know, I don't think there's a better side out there at the moment. I mean, other than, you know, coming up to somebody like Spain, you know, that's where it's really going to test us, and we need to be on top form for that. You know, we can't be.
Well, absolutely, and you say about the set pieces, and we've given too many away, and we're poor at defending them. We've actually been poor on set pieces ourselves as well. I mean, the first half, there's multiple balls where I think Trippier took the second of the 2 free kicks, the initial 2 free kicks, but Foden takes the first, and it's just a poor ball in. And you're thinking, you know, Trippier's a dead ball specialist. What's going on?
Why isn't he?
What's going on in training that Foden gets the call ahead of Trippier to take that, you know, to put that ball in? We need to improve both ends on set pieces, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I when obviously Phil Foden did the first one, he kind of hit the first guy really. When he got lined up for the next one, I was a bit like, as you said about Kieran Trippier being, you know, the guy to do it. I was a bit worried when he was stepping up, but luckily, Trippier took the hit for it.
Yeah, but you know, it's a big question in the next game now. Like, surely, you know, Luke Shaw's probably going to start in the next game, so they need to work out who's taking those set pieces.
You really hope.
I assume, you know, Luke Shaw's good from set pieces as well, but that's something I really think we need to work on for the next game, because a decisive moment could come from one of those set pieces. But yeah, as we say, second half, you know, we were very compact, and like you say, the Netherlands, I feel like Koeman set them up to say, take this to penalties. That's how I felt it was, or take it at least to extra time. They were going for it at the end of the second half.
Yeah.
We were compact, but so were they, and it was a bit of a stalemate for the majority of the match.
Yeah.
And then obviously Gareth Southgate makes those late substitutions. I'll be first to admit I was absolutely baffled by Ollie Watkins coming on. I'm not at all saying that's because I don't want to see Ollie Watkins on the pitch, but his substitutions are unpredictable, aren't they? Because he's called on Tony as his striker for the last couple of games. Watkins hasn't played for a few matches, and I just thought, what a bizarre choice. Palmer made total sense because he's been dangerous.
I feel like we kind of have called for Cole Palmer majority of the games. And with Ivan Toney and that penalty and how ice cold it was the other day, you
think
thought
he's the man.
Shoo-in, yeah. So I was quite surprised as well. But fair play to Ollie.
I was going to say we now set up that moment. So you know, for full disclosure, Tom got up at 89 minutes from the table in the pub to go to the toilet, and I said to him, "Why would you go to the toilet at that time?" He wasn't swayed. I'm glad he wasn't. He went straight to the toilet, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, that moment happens. The ball gets played to Cole Palmer. He finds Ollie Watkins in the box, in behind what Gareth Southgate wanted him on for, really, at that tight angle on the right-hand side of the box. He has no right to shoot from there.
No.
But he is a forward, and that's what forwards should do. He shot, and that goal.
It was just mental. I think even he was surprised. Like, when he ran off to do his celebration, like, you could see the...
it was pure shock.
Yeah, like shock, madness in his face, and you went, fair play to him.
Yeah, imagine the amount of shock that was on my face.
Running out the toilet.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, this is what these moments are for. We've questioned Gareth Southgate in the past about his tactical knowledge. I mean, still a huge element of luck in bringing that player on, but he said it about Tony in the Slovakia game, right? Tony berated him for bringing him on 2 minutes before, and he said, I felt like he could do something. This time he clearly felt like Watkins could do something, and he did something. It's just... And then, I mean, everything after that's a blur, to be honest. I mean, he brought on Conor Gallagher and Konsa for Mainu and Saka, both in the 93rd minute. Was it 3 minutes of added time, and the whistle was blown about 96, 97?
Yeah, everyone in the pub was getting a bit restless. But obviously the game kind of continued from about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Bellingham's trying to take it down the left-hand side. We're trying to get into that corner flag. The whistle is finally blown. And we're through to another semi-final.
Semi-final?
We're through to another final.
No,
as unbelievable as that is, hence.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I reached for that word, And, Spain to come in the next game. But I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm just high on the win.
Yeah.
And, I said it on the walk back to the flat. This is an England team that defy all logic. And we might just see that in the final again. You just don't know. You can't predict this team. I mean, all the way through the match, I'm questioning every decision. I'm questioning every player. I don't think I'm going to do... Well, I probably will in the final.
Yeah,
but,
you'll be nervous on Sunday.
Yeah, of course I will.
Everything.
But, just as I said in the preview for this match, there is quality beneath the surface of this England team. No matter how Gareth Southgate sets this team up, there are little moments waiting to push out. And I know we're scared to play Spain, but they're going to be scared to play us too.
Yeah.
There is so much quality in this squad.
Yeah,
I mean, for Watkins to come on, having not played for the past few games,
Yeah.
and produce that, like I say, a moment of luck, but a moment of you create your own luck,
Yeah.
to shoot and score that. He said in his post-match interview, I had to be greedy. And that's a killer instinct of a striker. I mean, Villa fans will have seen that all season of Ollie Watkins. That's what he does. And,
That's what he does.
This is what he does. Yeah, I mean...
He leaves everything open for Saturday and
Sunday
rather.
Yeah.
Although it's going to feel like a Saturday, leaves everything open for that. And I think that at this point in time, we all of those previous doubts that we've had, as you said, we've got a good squad there, and we're as good as any on our day. And I think it would be sod's law probably for Spain fans should we come out of that victorious, but we'll see. And I think we will have to raise something to the fact that we've got a good side together and the boys are playing well at the moment.
Well, and they've peaked at the right time, and we said it before the match about Spain. They've played well all the way through the tournament. England have not played well all the way through the tournament, but by the law of averages, you have to put a good performance in at some point.
Yeah.
And
Let's
we
hope it's this one.
we've put one good half in. Maybe we'll do two in the final.
Yeah. I do think Gareth Southgate is going to not make any changes. I think we've got this far so far,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a bit of a bad omen to change it now. So
Yeah.
obviously he may sub out Trippier for Luke Shaw, but
Or he might not. I mean,
keeping that initial team, I think how it is would be. It clearly works. He clearly can see the magic in a moment with a player, and it's happened. And
also they were two very different halves of football. We didn't enjoy the second half, but we had that open first half and we found the equaliser, and he decided he wanted a change with Luke Shaw coming on. So he might decide the same. He might want a proactive first half with Trippier on.
And I think as well, the changes we made in the second half are very responsive to the way that the Netherlands went. They went very tight, and it wasn't allowing us or affording us the opportunity to make a lot of those runs we had kept in the first half. I think a lot of us probably were crying out for us to capitalise on that at many points. And there were chances, Foden as well looked really positive. I think
that was Foden's best game.
We both said I think he looked the most bloodthirsty he has at this tournament, and that's kind of the player that we expect to see. And I mean, you look at all of those boys on that pitch, and really good side there.
Yeah, and also we've talked about Palmer and Watkins coming on, but we've not talked about Foden and Harry Kane coming off.
Right.
Gareth Southgate had the bottle to take his captain off. We've obviously said he doesn't look fit, but that game could have gone to extra time and you don't have Harry Kane. It could have gone to penalties and you yet again don't have Harry Kane. He had the bottle to make those changes, and I just hope he has the bottle in the final.
Well, I think that last match where Harry Kane obviously came off after falling over the icebox thing, we have got talent and we have got really good penalty takers. So I don't think that's even as much as a worry anymore for Southgate, considering the penalty with Ivan Toney and Cole Palmer being the second top scorer in the Premier League. So I feel like Harry Kane is the guy, obviously, but we've got more guys now. It's not just relying on him, especially now after Watkins' goal tonight. We've got a solid kind of striker bench, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. There's talent in the squad. He's using the squad, and it's worked so far. So, on to the final.
Do we get a bank holiday if we win?
I hope so. I don't think they'll have a choice. I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you so much to my two guests for joining me in this video. Thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to be posting a preview for the Spain match. I'm going to try and make more sense of what we can expect from our opponents and what we saw in that performance tonight. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, England!